So we continue to read about Smyslov's games and some stories which connect us to that period. Now here the next game that I want to show you guys is against this Georgy Zagurov. Why do I want to show you this game? Because in reality, in the other book that I have about Smyslov, there is a picture. We can finally see this guy, and that's interesting in my opinion because often we don't put a face. That's why I like to publish on my Twitter some old pictures of these chess players, just to have a chance when I see my profile to remember them, because I never saw them. And so I just see their games, but I don't know anything about them. Here it's interesting because it tells the story of how Smyslov improved his chess. However, this game that you are going to see, he loses. Okay, Georgy Zagurov is white, Smyslov is black, and it was played in Leninsky House of Young Pioneers in Moscow, 1935. Zagurov begins with e4, and Smyslov played e5, knight c3, knight f6, f4, this is the Vienna game, d5, as you can see, clearly a sharp opening because black already has opened all the bishop's diagonals, and clearly a big fight in the center, right? F takes e5, and here there is knight takes e4. White makes a mistake and play knight takes e4. D takes e4, and then there is d4. Here black should have played e takes d3, which is the en passant, and then knight c6, because that would have given him an advantage. Instead, black played bishop e7. Bishop c4. Now white has a beautiful position because you see this is kind of hanging, and white doesn't go to attack this because it will fall on his own. But what is important is that white has a center, and now all the diagonals are open for him to develop his pieces, right? So that's a great thing. Castle, bishop e3, developing, and in reality it could be also a signal that he could say, oh, maybe I'm going to castle on that side. In any case, this development is great because it blocks this from moving, and at least he starts to prepare for a possible connection between the rooks. Because again, I tell you, the task of the opening are three. One is to develop all the pieces, two is to castle, and three is to connect the rooks, right? So let's remember those tasks when you play your own games. Knight d7, and yes, here white cannot play knight f3 because of this, so he has to play knight e2. But the advantage, however, is that he has already the F file open, so not bad. Knight b6, bishop b3, and bishop g4, pinning the knight e2. White finally castle, and black decide to go to attack that with a5. Obviously, White immediately plays a3, a4, and bishop a2. I honestly don't know if this is a good or bad thing. So, here he played bishop g5. Bishop takes g5, queen takes g5, and of course he cannot play queen c1 trying the exchange because he would go back and probably something would fall. Huh? So let's see what happens. He played king h1, queen e3, oops, rook e1, and queen f2. Now guys, can you guess what white played? White played queen c1 and is indicated by an exclamation point, which means it's a good move. Rook a d8 attacking d4 and c3 creating a pawn chain and protecting d4. Now it seems that black made a mistake. Why? Because he tried to attack immediately the pawn chain, but it doesn't work. What would you play if you were white here? White played knight g3. Of course there is this move because black wanted, but white plays knight takes e4, right? Queen h4, and now there is the famous octopus. It seems the best move was queen g5, but white played knight d6. Okay, so knight d6, d takes c3. Queen takes c3. And here we should have played bishop e6. Instead, he played a mistake, rook d7. Queen c5, queen d8, protecting the knight b6, rook f1, returning on the open f file, bishop h5, because this is attack twice, it could start to become a big problem. Not twice, sorry. 1, 2, 3. So yes, he needs to defend it. And after bishop h5 there is rook e1, because in any case it could be opening the file. But was there a better move? Here in the book they say that the best move was Alatar, knight takes f7. But it doesn't give anything else. So if he plays this, bishop takes f7, what does white do? Bishop takes f7, king takes oh. Yeah, maybe the problem is that this centralized pawn can bring the king out and then it becomes a kind of danger. Please feel free to analyze it and see what happened and why Soltis advise knight takes f7 instead of rook e1. Okay, after that there is knight c8 because you want to remove the octopus, because as you can see he has really 8 great squares where to go. He plays knight takes c8, queen takes c8, and now there is queen b4. Obviously white is in attacking mode, he doesn't want to exchange the queens. Black makes another mistake, rook f d8 to follow e6, obviously, so he made weak f7 and it seems he didn't realize it. Rook c7, and now there is e takes f7. Boom. Bishop takes f7. How would you continue here? White continue with rook takes f7. Rook takes f7 and queen e7. Great move, right? Because 1, 2, so it starts to become a problem. You cannot play this, right? So you can only play rook f8 to try to keep it, but then white played rook f1 and that seems more than enough. And here black, that was Smyslov, resigned. So I thank you very much for watching this game from the collection presented in this great book. In reality, this book is also about Bronstein, Geller and Taimanov, and of course Averbach. There is also another interesting book, which is this one, in which Averbach recounts how terrible was the period under Stalin, because there were a lot of chess players, his friends, that disappeared. And they, for disappear means they were magically poisoned by lead, you know, that thing that happens when they make bang, bang, and you die, no? It's lead poisoning. Okay, I thank you very much for watching. We will eventually check more games from this book or this, because I neglected to show games by Smyslov, but he was a great world champion and most of all really great in the endgame. Thank you very much for watching and see you next time.